Hello. Public Service International, PSI, would like to share our recently published guide to trade union action in their inter-American human rights system. Created in the framework of the Organization of American States, OAS, the Inter-American System is one of the international systems of human rights protection that trade unions can use to defend and promote human rights, including labor and trade union rights. The Inter-American Human Rights System is composed of two entities, the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights and the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. The Commission and the Court each have their own specific mechanisms to monitor and promote compliance with the international obligations that member states have committed themselves to. They both maintain the international treaties adopted by the OAS as their most important references. The Inter-American Commission is composed of 7 members that are elected at the OAS's general meeting. They are elected for a period of 4 years. During their mandates, they work together with the reporters whose work is organized by theme or by country. Reporters responsible for specific themes focus on distinct groups, communities, and individuals that are particularly vulnerable to human rights violations because of their current status and the history of discrimination to which they have been submitted. The Inter-American Commission has instruments that allow it to supervise compliance with human rights obligations and to submit the conduct of governments to the scrutiny and monitoring of society and international public opinion. For example, existing instruments include the Petitions and Individual Cases System, the Precautionary Measures System, thematic hearings, on-site visits, and preparation of thematic and country reports. The tools of the Inter-American Commission are important to unions in the work they do to oblige member states to fulfill their commitments to labor and trade union human rights, deal with violations that have been identified and reported, provide appropriate restitution for possible victims, and ensure that violations are not repeated. The Inter-American Human Rights Court is an international court of law whose main objective is to apply and interpret the American Human Rights Convention and the other inter-American human rights treaties. It is composed of 7 national judges, each from different member states of the OAS. Judges are individually elected by each signatory state of the American Convention for a period of 6 years. The Inter-American Court also enjoys a diverse set of instruments to protect human rights. The court adopts sentences that have the status of mandatory compliance by national states, and also endorses consultative opinions about the interpretation of the American Convention and other inter-American human rights treaties. For a long time, American trade unions did not actively intervene in the inter-American human rights system. The first cases on trade union freedom submitted to the jurisdiction of the Inter-American System were connected to extrajudicial executions or forced disappearances of union officers in the context of dictatorships. Although still insufficient, the decisions of the Inter-American System have confirmed the interdependence of civil and political rights and labor and trade union rights, and reaffirms the importance of protecting individual or collective trade union activities over recent decades. Trade union organizations have been increasing their interventions in the Inter-American System, ensuring that human, labor, and trade union rights are in the center of the regional agenda and work plan. A clear example of this increase in interventions is the participation of PSI in a public audience that the court organized in July of 2020. PSI organized written and oral submissions that detailed violations of the labor and trade union rights of public sector workers. It is important to acknowledge and understand that union interventions in the Inter-American System are significant complements to other forms of mobilization and resistance to guarantee that human rights are effectively respected, promoted, and protected. Everyone that is part of the union movement throughout the Americas, from all sectors, now has another important tool in their hands. A tool that details the steps to occupy this space, to which everyone has a right to confront the serious dismantling, repression, intolerance, and hate that is spreading in so many countries in our region. PSI's Practical Guide for Trade Union Action in the Inter-American Human Rights System. An unprecedented initiative by PSI, Public Services International, the Global Trade Union Federation for Public Service Workers, with the support of the Training Institute of the DGB, the German Trade Union Confederation. The guide includes all of the norms, mechanisms, and labor and trade union rights that the regional system recognizes. Let's make a difference together.